The World, Margaret W. Wong and Associates, with over 40 years experience in U.S. immigration law, keeps working for you in the midst of adversity. Offices are in Cleveland, New York, Memphis, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Nashville, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Look after your loved ones and we'll take care of your immigration needs. Please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Carlos Brando. Today is Thursday, the 7th of January, 2021. About a year ago, Qasem Soleimani was in the middle of the explosion that took his life away, starting on the year 2020. But now we are in year 2021. We have a lot of expectation. We have a lot of goals this year, but especially we have dreams. And we are dreaming of having a new opportunity of living in this country, having a good life, having new chances to build up our life here. And as Ms. Wong says all the time, it's hard to make a living. So right now, yesterday we saw what was going on in the city of Washington, D.C. What happened there was unprecedented. Declarations everywhere, people going crazy everywhere. Sadly, 3 people died yesterday in the Capitol of the United States. And it was really, really sad scene that we had yesterday, which we are not happy to talk about, that we are not willing to see anything like this in the future. This is something that happened yesterday and had not happened before in the modern history of this free country. So I hope that your prayers and your thoughts are with everyone who was involved and who was a victim of this, and that you are putting your thoughts in the United States of America as your country and as the country that you want to live in peace, in a good way of living and being prosper in this beautiful country. Today we are going to talk to our head attorney of the law firm, Ms. Margaret W. Wong. She's coming back today to the show. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your time today. We are starting by, it's impossible to start without talking about what happened yesterday in the city of Washington, D.C.
So it's the first time I've been in America since 1969. It's the first time this happened. And since this show is very much for people like us who are born somewhere else, or children of people born somewhere else, that it's just mind-boggling. But I want the world to know, and our listeners to know, and our audience to know that this is not the America that it is. I mean, it's just something bad happened. And this morning, as you know, Facebook and Twitter banned Donald Trump indefinitely on there. So maybe if there's not that many things out there, maybe we'll all get better. But this is not what we bargained for. And I want you to know that this is a once in a lifetime thing. It's really, America is still the greatest. It's still really the best in the world. I mean, our infrastructure is good, our tax is good, and we have benefits. They just passed $600 because of the virus. Aside from mixed families, a year ago, we got $1,200 each person, and also $500 for children. So it's a very good country. You know, I mean, no country could afford the kind of relief we have. South Korea give food baskets, but you don't see them giving out cash. It's awesome. It's still the best.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And this is, as we were saying before, it's just an unprecedented time since 2020. We started 2020 first with the vaccine, with some other possibilities to have a relief from this virus that attacked the world last year. And right now, we saw what happened yesterday. So, if we could mention, what does it mean that people like John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock got elected for the Senate, and I think the House as well?
Right.
In the
It's a
state of New
great
York?
question. Ms. Pelosi got elected again as the head and the leader of the Congress, because, as you know, the House and the Senate. Congress have two bodies, the House and the Senate. Anytime you need to pass any law, you need the House. First, the committee pass it, go to the full House. Senate committee pass it, go to the whole Senate. Both of them have a compromise, and now it goes to President for signature. The fact that the Congress now, even a thinner majority, is still Democratic, the Democrats, the Senate now is 50-50, which means that we have a Democratic vice president to break the tide. If it's a tide, hopefully it's no tide, so we win. So now you have the president who is Democrat, who have the Senate who is 50-50, but you have Harris breaking a tie, which means Democrat is still controlling. And now you have Democrat with Senate. So anytime there are new law changes, there's a hopeful it will pass. It's not just about immigration, it's about infrastructure, about tax, about estates. I mean, a lot of stuff. So this is really good. So, of course, a lot of lawyers now, including myself, we're talking about, what will pass? I don't have the audacity to think what will pass, but definitely I would love, especially from our Ohio senators and Ohio congressmen, to push for 245I extension, no more perm bar, or at least sunset a portion, like if they came before August of 2020, then no more perm bar. Work permit goes faster. We do not recommend open borders. We do not recommend people who have serious criminal record to stay in America. We do not recommend encouraging all the poor people or people who couldn't find jobs or just to come to the border and apply for asylum. Those are not things we ask for. But we do ask for America to help the people who have been here for 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, 3 years, because of asylum, which is the 5 elements: race, nationality, and also when you describe that, family violence is still violence. Just because my stepfather or my father was raped, it doesn't mean the rapist would not rape me. Under Trump, that's what they're saying. Family asylum is no longer your asylum. There's no nexus. It's just, that's why we went to law school. But I think that's important. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. So Elizabeth is asking, can I have your phone number? Of course, we can give you our phone number. Is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. And she's asking as well if we have offices in the city of New York or New Jersey. And the answer is yes. Ms. Wong has offices in New York. Just call this phone number. This is the national phone number for the law firm, and they will take care of your case. We have attorneys in New York. We have the office in New York. And, just during the virus, it has been a little more difficult to work directly with people. But how have been we doing with the New York office, Ms. Wong, since New York had a very long lockdown?
Yes, right now it's okay. We're rotating people to come to the office, but our staff is either working at home or in the office, because I don't want them to require them to work, because we have especially one staff member who have to take care of her mother. She's the only person who could help the mother, so she a lot of times work at home. We have another staffer who have 2 young children, so I always tell her, stay at home, just work at home, because we put printers there, everything is ready. Our lawyers are rotating back at home and all in the office. So it's a very nice environment. We see clients, but only for documents. We talk to them a lot, so the office is operating normally.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. So please don't wait on call for this phone number, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and we will take care of your case. Ms. Wong is going to talk to you. You can have a good conversation, and of course, she will be happy to help you with your immigration needs. So, Ms. Wong, we have a lot of questions coming in. This question is, I have a question about DACA for my son. He applied for the first time. If we accomplish or fulfill all the requirements, he will have his DACA. But I would like to know what the requirements are since he never applied before.
Okay, there are 5 requirements. You have to graduate from high school or at least taking GED classes and register for GED. You have to be born before June 15th of 1981. You have to come to America and live continuously in America between June 15th of 2007 till June 15th of 2012. And after 2012, you could periodically leave the country and come back, but only for very brief and casual time. You have to be in America before the age of 15, before the age of 16, and you could only apply now if it's a first applicant if you are over the age of 15. The only exception is if you are already in removal proceedings before the age of 15. The requirements are not that bad. You could not have criminal records, no DUI, but if you drove without a license, it's okay, but not 10 of them. Those are the simple requirements.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. We have another question here. It's quite a long one. Good day, Ms. Wong. May I ask, what is the difference between request for evidence and request for initial evidence? Is it the same? My boyfriend filed fiance visa and was received by USCIS last May 4, 2020. And just this December 29, 2020, we received an email from USCIS that the request for initial evidence, but until now, we have not received the mail. Thank you and God bless.
Good. Let me explain what's a fiance visa. Fiance visa is a K visa. You need to file the I-129F. So it was filed last year, which means the I-129F was filed. They already got a receipt. In December, and it shouldn't take that long, but the unlucky thing is because of the virus. So in December, they got the RFB. Response for initial evidence is the same as response for evidence. In this case, since it's a fiancé visa, I presume the alien fiancé is overseas, because if she's here, you don't need to file a fiancé visa because she's already here. Fiancé visa is a K visa that allows you to come to America. So I presume they responded. Now, if they didn't respond, you have another 30 or 60 day RFB. They give you 90 days to respond. Sometimes they only give you 30, but mostly it's 90. So make sure you respond within the 90 days. But because of the virus, cases filed after March of last year till now, you have another 30 or 60 days to respond. Now, I expect the I-129F to be approved. It's not that hard to get a K visa approved in America. Once you responded, actually, when you first file, once the check is cashed, when you get the receipt notice on the top left-hand corner, there's a number. It could be a WAC number. It could be a LIN. LIN means Lincoln, Nebraska. WAC, Western Service Center. So you have a WAC. That means because there's 4 service centers. And sometimes you get a T notice. A T is a transfer notice. That means that I'm too busy in this service center to adjudicate the K visa, so I'm transferring the case. The K visa is not that hard. All you need to do is to prove you met with each other once face to face, not Facebook, once at least in the past 2 years. I get a lot of calls from disabled veterans or people who are sick or fear of flying. They couldn't go and visit. There was a time, like maybe 20 some years ago. Oh my gosh, am I old? But it's more like 20 some years ago, 30 some years ago, that because you're Indian, or actually it's more Chinese than Indian, you have to see them even then. But for the Chinese, because we have arranged marriages and you never even look at each other, the Indian marriage is the same thing. Chinese, we have no more arranged because communist China really modernized the whole marriage system. So that's your K visa. So if you look at the number, you can go on the web, just what's my CIS status, look at the CIS. You can even open your own thing in the CIS system and check that number. The number will tell you a card is produced, the case we received your RFP. It could be they never received it because we have a lot of problem with USPS lately, not so much with Federal Express. Just because of the Christmas mail, a lot of mails are being stuck somewhere in some boxes that we couldn't find them. That's another issue. So always check that web and respond. If not, call senator's office, congressional offices, call immigration, and also email. They're very responsive in the past 5 or 6 years, but they'll tell you the same thing. Wait for 30 days, wait for 60 days. It's not that hard.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And just reminding everyone that Ms. Wong has offices in 9 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, where the headquarters are, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. The website is imwong.com. And for more information, you can call 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. We have quite a long question here, Ms. Wong. So I'm going to take the time to read it. Hello, I have a friend who is being discriminated against at work. She tried to branch out on her own, but now fears retribution as she is not exactly documented. The business owner is well connected here as well as back home. So she's kind of stuck with them and the discrimination and harassment. There is a recent case of some employees who tried to work with a competitor after quitting, and they were almost sent to prison and then made to sign a letter giving up their career in the industry as a condition to drop the charges against them. This was back in her home country. She fears for herself. Here has been reported her livelihood destroyed, as well as her family back home, which depends on her. Is there anything that can be done for her to get full legal status to get out of this situation, Ms. Wong?
The 3 things you can do. Number 1, if you feel if there's any threat of physical fear, you can absolutely go to the police. We all pay tax to support the police force. You need to report this police if you feel any physical threat. Of course, if psychological, the police couldn't help you. Number 1. Number 2 is if there's any physical violence or any violence, you can actually file for U visa. But one requirement for the U visa is that you need a law enforcement agency to sign it. So if it's just objective or subjective fear, that means there's no threat, that is just like, oh, I'm really scared because my friend, then of course there's really no police action. If it's discrimination, and if they owe you money, you can report that. You don't even need a lawyer for all this. It's common sense. You can report directly to Department of Labor. In Ohio, because I'm very active in Ohio politics and stuff, we have a great regional EEOC office. In fact, one of the people who's very high up in the organization speaks Spanish. Another one actually speaks Chinese, maybe not fluently. I tease her, but she's good. So you can also report to Labor Department, and you can go to your own, like Ohio, with our own Federal Labor Department. You also have the Ohio Labor Department. You can report if they owe you money or back wages or back pay. Don't be afraid, because that's why America is great. If you report, even if there's discrimination, there's any hate crime, most FBI, especially Ohio, New York, they all have it. Report to the hate, just go to FBI, because they have a very good receptionist always at the desk. Just tell them what happened, and they'll offer you some forms. If the people who threaten you are lawyers, you can also always go to the Bar Association, because lawyers like us, we have licenses. And if I lose my license, I could never practice. So the Bar Association controls our license. You can actually go to the state bar, which in Ohio is the Ohio Supreme Court. In Cleveland, we have the Greater Cleveland Metropolitan Bar. But federal, we also have a federal bar. So depends on who is threatening. So you can file for a U visa, you can report to FBI, you can report to police, because just don't be scared, because these are state agencies. It's not going to hurt you. Now, he may, as an anonymous citizen, and that's another thing Trump do, which I think is totally unfair. Trump started on the web, on the email, that if you're anonymous, anybody, you could just go on the web and report an illegal alien or something. You can actually report yourself and say, I'm scared, I'm being threatened by this. And people actually are very nice, because when you're the victim, American people, we have a system to help you. So I don't think you need to be scared. Another thing you need to talk to, and I strongly recommend it, is go to a labor lawyer. I'm only an immigration lawyer. I don't do the big time labor. You need to talk to a labor lawyer about anti-discrimination or anti-competition clause. A lot of employers do want people to sign anti-competition because of trademark, and that's very legal. So talk to a labor lawyer to see what's illegal, what's legal, and they're not they charge by the hour, but most of them are not expensive. And I would talk to a local one, because different states have different labor lawyers, labor law. But the federal one, just go to a local federal labor department and tell them, this is my fear, and they'll tell you, do you have a case or not? The whole thing is, as Catholics, as Christians, we don't want to hurt people. I always tell people, what comes around, turn around. You don't need to hurt them. Somehow God is there, or another person would come back, right? But on the other hand, you need to protect yourself. And the way to protect yourself is don't be scared. You never work from fear. You work with faith and hope and grace and love and gratitude. That's how you work. And I've learned that. I'm 70 years old.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, that's true. We have to work from faith and not from fear, because a lot of people are living in fear right now for any reason, for the virus, for the immigration, for what they call eyes that maybe they think they are going to come for them. And some people take advantage of that. That's why you need a good attorney, just like Ms. Margaret W. Wong, who has been working in this field.
So embarrassing, Mr. Juan. Yeah.
No, you're not. You shouldn't be embarrassed, because you are a very good attorney, and you are not saying it. Other people say it, and that's the good thing. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for sharing your knowledge with us, and all of your experience putting it to work for people, which is why we receive a lot of good comments that we have already received today. One of them is Juan David. He said, I love Margaret W. Wong team. He just sent that comment today. So let's go to the next question. I would like to know if I have another opportunity that immigration could let me go to my appointment. They canceled that appointment and closed the office because of the virus. What can I do?
It depends.
What kind of appointment?
There's 3 appointments that you may want to go back to. Number 1 is the O-suit. That means you are going to ICE a report every month, because without that date, you cannot get a C-18 work permit. So you can just call them, and they're accepting calls and stuff, or just go there and present yourself with that piece of paper, what we call the I-220B. Because you need the signature in there to signature, then you can do a C-18 work permit for 1 more year. That's one appointment. The other appointment is an N400 interview, a 45 interview. That you need another interview letter and you need to call them. Nowadays, the nice thing about USCIS and the web is to just go on the web and call. If not, just write them a letter. If not, just sit on a phone and call. On the lower left-hand corner of the receipt notice or the last appointment, they should have a number you can call. Keep writing that letters, calling them. They will give you that. You need an appointment. The third thing you need to do, and you may want to do it, is a fingerprint appointment. With fingerprint appointment, currently there's 280,000 and more people waiting for fingerprint. Immigration already gave us a number because we are stakeholders. That means they always give us notices so we don't complain too much, which is good. It's proactive. So you could either, now, if you already have an old appointment, they close, depends on what city. In a big city like New York, Los Angeles, they probably won't do it, but I shouldn't say that, they're going to kill me. Like Ohio, we have Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, they're beautiful people. So go in there, but you may not want to tell them, I told you they'll kill me, but it's okay. They're very nice. They're really good. Just walk in there and say, this was closed. Can you do it now? Sometimes they will. Sometimes you sit there for 2 hours and be nice and don't yell and scream, and they should and will. That's another way. So it depends on what kind of appointments you do, what kind of things.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Reminding everyone, Ms. Wong mentioned some cities for other concerns, but the offices of Ms. Wong are in Cleveland, in Chicago, Atlanta, Columbus, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is one phone number for the whole cities, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. So the next question, Ms. Wong, is I filed my fiance visa. My son just turned 20 last December 1st, 2020. If my fiance visa is approved, can me and my son travel together? Can I process my son's papers also at the same time so we can travel together? Thank you.
That's a very, very good question. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very good question. Because in order to get the child a green card, the relationship have to start before the age of 18. So if I want my child to get a green card, my fiance have to come to Philippines to marry me. I'm just using Philippines because it's the first country that came on my mind. My future husband have to come to Philippines to marry me. So now I have a relationship with my husband, and my child become his stepchild before the age of 18. Then the child can come to America on a green card. Now, that's why it's a very good question. This is a sophisticated listener, because the child is already 20, which means that as long as a fiancé visa was approved and the stamp, the child could come on a K2. K2 means that I'm the K1. I could always marry my husband within 90 days after I go to America, but my child would not be able to get the green card, even though I married before the child is 21. That's your problem. But the child definitely could be approved as long as the stamp is before 21. So definitely the answer is yes. But be sure, what are we going to do for the child after the child is K3? You cannot extend, number one. Number two is you have to change the child's status until you get the green card and you sponsor the child. Right now, for green card mother a parent to sponsor the child, it'll take 4.5 years. So if you could keep the child in status of 4.5 years, the child can stay in America and get the green card through you, but not the citizen. But if you could not keep the child stay in America illegally, then the child have to leave America and come back with a new green card. But because he came on a K2, the child also, if he marries an American citizen, there may be a way I can get him a green card, but that's difficult because all K1, K2, K3, K4, you cannot adjust by a separate relationship. That's a very good question, actually. We get that question a lot in our private consult.
Yes, and actually we have a very interesting question coming in, and it says, is there anything that can be done for asylum if the case has been denied by the Ninth Circuit of Appeals?
The only way to do it, there are three ways to do, and Ninth Circuit, did he say what country, what ground?
No.
No, okay. It depends. Ninth Circuit, there was a time Ninth Circuit is probably one of the most progressive. It's not even liberal, it's progressive. And Seventh Circuit, we lose a very interesting judge. Second Circuit, Ninth Circuit is probably one of the most liberal. Ninth is was becoming very progressive, but in the last 2 or 3 years, I think just sick of it, that they were becoming more conservative. So it depends on what country you're from and actually you have some good audience, Mr. Juan. Let me go through this case. All right, depends on what country they're from. Latino countries, I won't do it, but if it's from Chinese, because China now is very against like Falun Gong or Christianity, not so much against Catholic, because the Pope is really trying to build a good relationship with the Communist Party. So it depends on what country they're from. There's 3 ways you can actually file a new case. Number one way is a motion to reopen because change country condition. Like Iraq and Iran is doing so badly in the past 2 or 3 years. Egypt is going down, down, down. So even Lebanon in the past 1 year is becoming bad. So it depends on change country condition, but you have to have the nexus. So if the change country condition is we have a new president, like Bolivia, we had already like 2 or 3 new presidents. And El Salvador, we have a new president, but the whole army thing. So, but the change of the regime or the change of the country condition has to have the connexion and the nexus to you. So just because you are from that country, but you live in the countryside and the big revolution happened, like Turkey, it's another country that is really doing poorly, very poor. So we see a lot of Turkish new people. Indonesia is doing very well, especially the Chinese Indonesia. So it depends on the country, all right? So you need a change country condition. Also, just because a country is doing well, it doesn't mean you don't have change country condition. We just represented someone who I found very interesting. She's really beautiful. She used to be Miss, and I forgot the country. She's a beautiful woman. Of course, now she says she's getting uglier, but I could imagine that she was beautiful. She hooked up with this really successful, powerful, she's from one of the Latino countries. She herself is powerful, became a TV commentator. Her boyfriend is one of those serious politician, wealthy, very wealthy. She had a kid from him, but he's always beating her up. Nobody knows because she's a famous person. So we're doing asylum for her, and we got the whole records. And it turned out she never really told. I don't like to blame lawyers because a lot of lawyers, not that we don't listen, but I'm lucky because I myself went through my own immigration problem. I had a very good lawyer, but and also I'm Chinese, I'm older. So, it takes age to really mature and listen. So when I went through her records on the appeal, I noticed that she never brought that up. She came legally, and the paperwork, they said illegal, because illegals are more easier to get asylum than legal. Because if the country give you your passport and American embassy give you a multiple 10-year visa, why do you want asylum, you see? So these are the 2 things. But so number one, change of country condition with connection. The nexus has to be you. It cannot be, the country changed, so I could not go back. Of course you could go back if the country changed, because you only live in a countryside that is not in the city, or in the city not. So number one. Number 2 is you need to look at technical errors. Technical errors means that did the judge, the BIA, or the circuit made any errors? I'm sure the circuit, even if they made errors, you can do either an en banc request. That means the whole 9th Circuit Board or 2nd Circuit Board. We won like maybe 1 or 2 of my whole life, maybe 3. 6th Circuit en banc. 6th Circuit is very difficult. It's very conservative. As you know, 6th Circuit is Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Detroit. So it's a very, Tennessee, we have 4 states. Very conservative, very Republican leaning, and most of them don't like people like us. There was a time, as I said, when I was younger, with my name, like Barack Obama, how did he become President Obama, Barack, but with my name. And now I think people forgot that I have that name because now they know, most people know us by now. But there was a time 20, 30 years ago when they see my name, they're like, oh, another fraud, another notario, So it takes time. So first is change of country condition. Second is technical error. So those are best cases. If you have an abstention from the judge, and then you didn't appeal because you didn't know about it, so you can do a motion reopen. That's second. The third way to do these cases is really go through your whole record. Get the whole FOIA from FBI, CIS, CBP, court, and see what's the problem. Why did I lose? Because years and years ago, if you're from Sudan, you should not lose the case. If you're from Iraq and Iran, years and years ago, because of the fall of the Iranian, the Shah, you shouldn't lose a case. That's so stupid, That's why. So these are cases that you could do it, but you really, especially at 9, it'll be difficult, but it doesn't mean you cannot do it. You have to go through it and read about it, dream about it, and think about it and see, how did I lose? Why did I lose? Is it because of an error? And don't always blame the lawyers. I know, because every time I hear, oh, my lawyer didn't do this, my lawyer didn't do that. But then did you tell the lawyer? That's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yes, so we are done with today's show. Thank you for sharing all this knowledge and experience and answers to all of our questions. And I hope to see you next Wednesday in our next show in Spanish and English. And for everybody who is joining us in every single show, please share these shows, share these videos, so more people can watch us and learn about the immigration world. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong.
Thank you. Thank you.
And for everybody there who has been joining us today, please give us a call, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and Ms. Margaret W. Wong will be more than happy to answer your questions directly. You can call her. The people in her office, they speak several languages, so don't worry about the language. They will take care of you. See you next time. Take care. Please remember to call 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984.
This pandemic has changed the world. Margaret W. Wong and Associates, with over 40 years experience in U.S. immigration law, keeps working for you in the midst of adversity. Offices are in Cleveland, New York, Memphis, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Nashville, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Look after your loved ones and we'll take care of your immigration needs. Please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984.